Pattaya City Expats Club is a non-profit social organisation and our speakers are volunteers. The club as such assumes no responsibility or liability for the professional reputation of or the quality of services provided by the speaker today.
Gianno Lusardi, who will tell us all about Take Care Kids Foundation, what it does and how it benefits local abused children in Pattaya. Take Care Kids was created to provide safety and protect children, in certain cases single mothers with children, from violence and various forms of severe abuse, and to help them rebuild their lives and obtain a new future. Take Care Kids was founded first in Italy in 2006, and in 2010 were officially recognised by the Thai government as Take Care Kids of Thailand Foundation. A word of warning, a couple of the slides during the presentation are quite graphic, and I mean graphic, so if you should have a little warning before they come up. If you want to look away, that's the time to look away. So will you please welcome Giorgio, sorry.
Thanks. So, first of all, I'm Italian. That means that my mother tongue is not English. So please, I apologize from now if I say something wrong. So, second, Take Care Kids is a charity foundation. Wait, I just have to open here because it's a charity foundation that operates in Pattaya, like he said before. We were founded in 2006, first in Italy, and then in 2010 we became a charity foundation recognized by the Thai government, Ministry of Social Welfare. What we are doing, you can perfectly hear, these are all our main projects. We run a shelter, now a foster home, because we became foster home in 2018, end of February. And we have a program with single mothers outside our foster home. That means that we are going to meet single mothers in needs. Especially, we are helping them sending the children to schools because they cannot go to schools because they don't have enough money to send them to school. And number three, we are going to we call them local campsite slums, and we are helping there because most of the children there are coming from Cambodia and Burma, some even from Vietnam, and that kind of children are really very poor. We are going to the poorest of the poor, and we are trying to help them with many ways. But the most important thing is that we are going there to check them, to see how they are and everything, because like you know probably, all the migrants doesn't have access to for example, to the public hospital. It means they have access, but of course they don't have any money, and even in the public hospital it's something you need to leave some money, even if you have a 30 baht card, depends. So this is what we are doing. Very important is that we are cooperating with a very small foundation like us, for example, in Cambodia and Burma. That's why, that's why we are going to the camps as well, because we want to collect names and picture of the children staying there in the camps, because probably you know that most of these children are trafficked into Thailand for any kind of work. Any kind of, we call them work, okay? So, on. Okay, this is our history. Like I said before, 2006, I found the foundation, I found a place in Italy, because I want to let the foundation have we can call them a spine, a place where we can have the money from. So I found it in Italy first. Second, in 2010 we were recognized by the Thai government Ministry of Social Welfare in Thailand. Then from 2010 until 2013 we operate just one office. And why? Because we have to follow the exact law in Thailand. Means, and even it's my point of view, before you have to be official a charity foundation, then you can start to work with children, because if you don't follow this, it can be very dangerous for me as well. So from 2010 to 2013, we operate just a small office, and from 2013 up, we start with a shelter. What is a shelter? A shelter is a place where the children are coming in and they are protected, but the child, if we are a shelter, have to go out of the shelter after 2 years, 2 or 3 years, depends on the case we are speaking about. But they have to go back to the society. It's even our idea that the child has to go back to the society, have to go back to the good part of the family, okay, to the one provide for them for the future a basic, completely basic life, a normal, completely normal life. I mean, have access to the school and have normal meals and things like this. So something very, very, very easy. In 2016, we changed from the first shelter was on the Sukhumvit Road, opposite King's Power, and after that we moved in 2016 in the place where we are now is on the railway road between Soikau Noi and Soikau Talo, and so we are there since 2 years now. The shelter, the house, now we have to call it foster home, because we become foster home at the end of February of 2018. What's the difference between shelter and foster home? The difference is that legally we can have as much children as we want, we can hold as much children as we want, and the children can stay with us till they become independent. We will not have many children even in the future. I don't want it. They are foundation with more than 100 children. We will always remain a maximum of 15, maximum 20 children. Because I strongly believe that our place have to be like a family, so a family environment. And I have to know the children. I have to speak with them every day. I have to know the problems they are facing every day. These children comes already in with very big problems, and we can see that the most important things for these children, we have to give them attention, like any child in their own family. I want to say something before of everything. We are a charity foundation, a not religious charity foundation. I'm not a pastor. I'm a very bad Christian. I'm a completely normal human being. Okay? So I'm not into any religion. We are not into any, we are not political involved and things like this. For us, what counts are human beings. Finish the story. It's very, very, very easy. I'm sorry if I'm very straight many times, because I'm like this, okay? Then, we go on. Okay, like we said before, we have the home, our home, where the children are sleeping, where the children are staying, where the children are starting to have a new life, a completely new life. Then, like I said before, we provide help for mothers, single mothers outside the shelter. Then, we're supporting children and their own mothers in the slums area. Okay, again about the slums area. The mothers of these children are not the real mothers. normally, those children were brought from Cambodia or Burma, I told you, from many kind of, we call them works, okay? And the women taking care of them, they are people, they are friends, okay? We can call them friends. Like this, okay, friends, better. This is our family in this moment. Okay, this is our family in this moment. In this moment we have we have 12 children, plus two because there are two, is a Cambodian family. They are living next to us. Then, this is already an old picture, old 3 months ago. That mother over there, she is a Rohingya refugee with her own child. The problem is that she came here and they asked us to take her. They asked us the government asked us to take her in our shelter. She came from the hospital because the child was very, very sick. But now the story went in a bad way. It means that one day the child was feeling very bad. The child goes back to the hospital with the mother. After 2 days, the mother left the hospital. She disappeared, and the child dies in the hospital. She had many lungs problems and things like that. One big infection at the end. So all the other children are in our shelter now, and they are quite happy in this moment. Very happy. Yesterday we went even out for dinner, so they are very happy. We have in our shelter we have a psychologist, and the psychologist is Fa, the Muslim girl, the one with the chador. And then we have Maria. Maria is working with me since a long time. Maria, she's outside. And then the rest of the staff. We have a cook, we have a cleaner, we have a nanny. So that's our staff. And my secretary, the phone is over there, okay? So it's like a family. I better skip this and we saw. Okay. Okay, like I said before, the maximum capacity of our shelter is 20 people. This is the max capacity, not more. I say it again, not more. All our children, or most of our children, are coming from the Department of Social Welfare. We are working close with. Then they are coming from a team of police, women and child protection. And many of them, they are coming even because they are calling us and asking for our help. So we are looking case by case, we are going to meet them, because it's easy that they are, some people, they are just come to us because they know that we are a charity foundation, maybe they come just to ask some money and don't like it. Our policy is very easy. I help you if you help yourself. Easy, easy. I mean, especially with single mothers. With single mothers outside the shelter, we are going there, we are going to meet them, we are going to speak with them. They can lie 1,000 times, but the problem is that normally I'm always around, so I always see them, I always track them. Because for us, even the most important things are donation for our charity foundation, and our donation doesn't have to get lost. I don't like it. I don't like to give money away like this without being sure. Not 100%, something like 150% should be right. Then I'm sure that everything is going on the own way. Like I said before, children outside the shelter, mothers outside the shelter, the most important thing is that the children have to go to school. You know very well that in Thailand, you know, if you don't have a uniform, you cannot go to school, you're not allowed to go to school. So we are providing, in this moment we have 8 single mothers outside there we are helping, and around there are 14 children, and say they are going to the school because of take care kids, and the school, there are public schools, normally is in Wat Pun Sampan, is the Wat Pun Sampan school is a public school on Soikautalo. I probably anyone knows about it. That school is a very easy school. Yes, like here, the mothers, the single mothers that are coming in our shelter, we have a single mother now with another child. She's even Cambodian, because we are working a lot with the local hospital, public hospital from Bangladesh, and they call us every time for new cases, new problems, and new problem that if we can help for a case like this. And we have a mother now, she's from Cambodia, with a very small child, 6 months old, and some lungs problem as well. The child is growing up very good, the mother is very good, he's taking care very good. But the single mothers comes in our shelter, they cannot stay forever. They have a certain time to stay there. Because like I said before, we give them all what she needs to start a new life. Even some of the mothers ask me if they can stay inside forever. I say no, because we need a place for helping other people. So normally when the mothers are ready to go out, we provide for a job, very normal job. Most of the mothers that we are helping, they are without any kind of education, so they don't have diplomas or degrees that they can go work some special places. So they start to work in a very easy way. They are cleaner or things like this, but important that the job is stable, important they can go on for a normal life with their own children and give them always the basic life. So something very easy. Okay. Like I said before, I just finished to say, for the single mothers we are providing a job, they have to be on their own feet. For the children staying in our shelter, normally the children are coming in because of the situation. Okay, I can tell you all our children are coming from their very bad stories, for example, sexual abuse, for example, tortured children, for example, children coming directly from the trafficking ring. All these children never went to school before, so they start in our shelter a completely normal life, like a family life. So they have to go to school, absolutely, they have to start to have friends. And the most important things for us, they have to start to have a normal relation with adult human beings, because they scare them. From the beginning, they scare them. They saw always adult like someone doing something bad to them. So we are trying to get them back to normality. An abused child, especially a sexual abused child, will never be normal anymore. Abused children, sexually abused children, they will have problems in the future, especially having relationship with the other sex. A tortured child will be aggressive. So, and the children recover very fast. We think that they recover very fast, but in the future they will have this kind of problem. We can stand to them, we are listening to them every day. When they are coming back from school, we are listening what they are doing, what they are thinking and things like this. We speak a lot. I speak a lot with them, and with our psychologists. We always listen to them, because for them every day is different, completely different. Every day, especially every night, is different. When a child starts to sleep regularly after 7 days, means that the child is starting to go on a good way. We are against using as much as we can. It means I'm against using medicine. Normally, when a child was abused, when a child is passing by all this kind of violence, they are giving medicine, I mean something to keep them calm. I don't agree about it. So I'm a very bad, I don't follow so much the law in this kind of case, because children have to try to take out everything they have. Of course, for us it's more difficult for us. We don't sleep many nights, but it's not important. We are here for that, and we will go on. Till we are here, we are going on in this way. Till I'm here, till I'm the president. If tomorrow the president is somewhere else, he will do something different. I always ask for a new president. The president and me and Maria, we don't have any salary, so not so many people are asking to be president. I don't understand why. You have to explain. Anyway, I jump some? Or, okay, like I said before, in the shelter I told you life is normal, going to school. Breakfast in the morning, going to school. After you will see a video, you can see the video of how the children are. A normal day of the child. Then, the children outside, the single mothers outside, I told you before, for us are very important to go there to support them. And most of these people, all these mothers are singles, are without work, are very poor, of course, they are living in very bad condition. And what we are doing is giving them scholarship for the children, and when we have something left, rice, something for cooking, and all this kind of stuff, completely normal. Because another of our policies is that if we have something more, we give it away to the people that don't have nothing. It's always like this. For example, we collect second-hand clothes for not only children, even adults. And we are especially using it in the camp. In the camp, like you can see, we are visiting the camps. Camps are very different. We have many in Pattaya. Now, maybe I will say something very strange. Most of these people working in the camps are trafficked for working in the campsite. Or what it means that they are coming, they go them from Cambodia or from Myanmar, and they come to work in our campsite. Sometimes the police raid the place where they are working, and they find out they don't have any papers. I always laugh about this because they know very well that they don't have any papers. They use them because they pay them really a lot less than a Thai workers. Like I said before, the children are staying in the camp all the days because they don't have access to the school. Means by the law, the school in Thailand is free for anyone. But I spoke many times with important people. They are managing the schools, especially in Pattaya. They told me they don't have space enough for the migrant children. So I always ask the local government why, when a new project of a new condo is built, why they don't ask them a 3% to build new schools and things like this. For example, can be an idea. So, but okay, the children, the migrant children doesn't have any access to the schools, and so they are staying in the camp all the time, all the day, and who wants can go there and speak with them or doing something bad with them, or you can imagine we are not all good people with good intention. Is that correct? I arrived in Pattaya just the first time 23 years ago. I was on a trip here in Southeast Asia. I was a journalist and doing many reportages about European pedophiles going around in Southeast Asia. And if you want, I can tell you a couple of things about this. And 23 years ago, I arrived in Pattaya. Pattaya was a hub for tourist pedophile, okay? We have many different kinds of pedophiles. And I met at the time Father Ray. Father Ray was the founder of Father Ray Foundation, and we spoke a lot about this. And I liked the way he was working. He was a priest, I'm not again. But we find many things in common. 10 years after, I started to volunteer in the Pattaya orphanage, and so I know Untoy, she will come to speak here, I think, in 2 weeks. I know her very well. I know many people, I know many foundations here in Pattaya. Speaking about pedophiles. Pedophiles were coming in Thailand 20, 25 years ago. They were coming here to try to find some child, some easy child, and they take advantage of the poverty, and then they go back to their own countries. I call them tourists, of course, because they came here for a short time of period. This kind of tourist now is moved from Thailand because the Thai government did a lot in the last 20 years to try to fight this kind of problem. They move from Thailand, they go to Cambodia. Now they are in Cambodia, this kind of tourist. Cambodia, and I'm sorry to say that because we have even some Philippine guests. In the Philippines, we have a very big problem about this. There are many tourists going down to the Philippines, especially Manila, Cebu, and they are doing some bad things there. The problem in Thailand remains, we call them serial pedophiles. Remains some people, serial pedophiles, I mean by serial pedophile people, they know perfectly the area. They know very well the area of Pattaya and surrounding. And this kind of people knows exactly where they can hit and how they can hit. It's very easy because they are still people, they have big problems, means they don't have enough money for many things, and so it's easy to go in the family, to pay a little bit of electric, to pay something, to give them some gifts, okay, to approach the children. It's very, very easy still now. We call them serial because they don't do only that, but we find even movies about this kind of how we can call this kind of problem. Pedophiles are people that were abused when they were children. In the 93% of the cases, they were people that were abused when they were little children. Then we have other cases with all this social, Facebook, and we have even 1% of people, they are copy what they are reading. They want to try. We had cases last year of adult people going with children because they want to see how is everything, how is work. We had the most brutal case. We had a child, 2 years old. She was raped by a friend of the father, just because he wants to see how it's working and how was everything. And this child dies after 3 days in the hospital because, of course, you can imagine. The age of the children is always going down. Always is the one that the customers around the world wants to buy this material with always more younger children. So we arrive at 3 years old. Probably, last year they stopped one Australian guy, 59 years old, ex-teacher or teacher. He starts his job from Bangkok down to Phnom Penh. He arrives in the Philippines. and they arrest them there. And in the meantime, he kills 6 children and 2 ex-girlfriends, because the two girlfriends, they understand what kind of business he starts, and they want to be a part of the business, because if you sell, for example, a file and in a movie, a very short movie, 5 minutes, you can sell it easy for 10,000 euro. Depends on the movie, depends on the type of movie, because you can sell it for 10,000 euro for a normal movie, 15,000 euro for something more, 20,000, if you can see the child dying. Okay. For us, like I said before, for us numbers are not important. They just asked me how many children we had in these years of working here in Pattaya. We have now there are more than 64. For help, what we mean for help, we mean that we take the children in a very big moments, and we give them back to the society, to the good part of the family. We find always the good part of the family. It's not only about finding the good part of the family, it's even following how the child is treated in the family. So we have to follow it. In this moment, we arrived at 68 children, around 68 children. They went outside our shelter, and now they are back to the families, and they are, I have to say, they are treated well by the families. They have a normal, basic life. When we are taking a child, from the first moment till they are going back to the family, we are not thinking that the child will go back and sleep in Hilton Hotel. He will be a completely normal, because he's going back to his family, type family, he will have a normal life and things like this. For us, it's important that the children have to be happy without any problems and things. And most of all, have to be protected, because this is the most important thing, that we have to be protected. Okay. This is how you can help. We in the last year we had, for example, this year Rotary Club from Pattaya, they helped us paying for us the rent. This is very important for us, because we pay a rent of 360,000 baht a year where we are in this moment. And for us, Rotary Club paid this year, and it's very important for us, because, like I said before, we are a very small charity foundation, and so we don't make any advertisement or things like this, because all the money we have, we use it for the children. Like in a normal family, we use them to raise them up and to give them a better life. So this is how you can help. There is many. The last thing is the current financial situation does not enable stronger support of psychological needs of children and mothers on a part-time basis. This was 3 months ago. I decided to take our psychologist for full-time, and she started the 1st of July. So our next goal will be, we are doing everything step by step. Our next goal will be having we want to buy a proper minivan, to bring our children to schools and things. We have one truck now, it's a Suzuki Caddy, you see there are many lots around, but the Thai government advise us to take something more secure, because this is, but okay, for me it's fantastic just to have a truck. In the future, if we can have a van, we will be very happy, but we will see what happens. Then, how you can help? Like I said before, Rotary Club is giving us the money for the rent. Of course, we have many other expenses. Like I said every time, it's not how much money you give us. It's how we are using the money. That's the most important thing. And I always repeat to anyone, if you have even a half chicken, bring it to us. For us, it's more than enough. We are more than happy. So you don't need to give millions of baht. If you give us even 20 baht, for us 20 baht is accounting a lot, really a lot, because you know very well what you can do with 20 baht. Especially a child, we are giving 20 baht every child when we are sending them to school every day because they have to have something sweet, something like this, and they are happy. And even our children have to. Any child have a. I know it in Thai, but not in English. In Thai is kapuk musim. Kapuk musim is a cup where you can put the money inside. You can money box. See, exactly. So our child have a money box, and at the end of the day, if there is personal money, they have to put it inside. And now, with two children, Nut and Baimon, they are 10 years old, and we teach them how to save the money, and then we open a small bank account, a Yao bank account, and we keep it, and we will see what happens in the future. So thank you very much. Of course, this is some of the picture of our children. Now, this is a video, like I told you before, how is the day of our children, how we wake them up in the morning. In this case, it's fun waking them up. Of course, we have to wake them up a little bit. This is around 6:30 in the morning, then they can go for a shower. They go for a shower. This video was taken in the old shelter, but the day is the same. It's running in the same way. Then they have to prepare themselves. Then, of course, going out, and Maria is waiting them for breakfast, and they have to go then for school. Like we'll see later, anyone have to provide for their own means, have to be careful for their own dress, uniform, and things like this. They have to be very careful. Uniform costs every year 3,000 baht each child. When they are coming back from school, they have a snack, normally it's fruit or things like this. And after that, who have some homework, they are doing homeworks. Who doesn't have homework, they can play. We have an activity room in case of rain, and now we have even a place outside where they can. This was in the old place. With the old place, we have a rooftop. They can play over there. And then arrives the time. Normally it's 6 o'clock, 6:30. They start to prepare themselves for having dinner. And they are playing a lot. So if you want to come along and play, I'll speak with them because I'm very tired in the evening. So help me, please. In the evening, they have to anyone collect his own dresses and prepare it for the next day for the school. Like you can see. The more I'm doing this kind. I don't know how to call it. It's not a work. It's not a mission for me. I'm doing this since 15 years, and for me, still now, the most emotional moment is when the children are coming inside our shelter. The first day, the first night. Normally, they are coming at night. When they are brought in our shelter, that's still now the most emotional moment for me because they suffer a lot. This is the last moment of the day, means that they are watching a cartoon, and after the cartoon they are going sleeping, and tomorrow is another day, and we start again. So for me, like I told you before, the most emotional thing still now is that when the child is coming in, that is carrying a lot, is very scary, I can feel something. I can feel it how they suffer in that moment. They don't have any parents. They don't have anyone. They are in a completely different place, and so they start a new life. Like I said before, I told you about we are taking care of this. What kind of the children we are taking care. Now, yes.
Now, just chiming in with Gio. Gio invited me round to his place and I suggested he tell a story about one particular child. This is very graphic images. You've been warning, some people might like to close their eyes. We have a child here, guy's got his daughter here, might want to go out during this particular section. This is real life, okay? So it's a story of one particular child. Gio.
Yeah, Ren asked me please to show this because he says this is correct. It's what happened when a child is coming to us. Not all the children are arriving in this condition, but most of them, and it's difficult. It's difficult, but you can see the happy face at the end. But at the beginning, it's even correct to show how the child is coming in. So in the picture number 1, I can okay, always. In the picture, they called us in a very small condo outside Pattaya. They called us because they were listening to a child always screaming, always crying, and so we arrived there with a social worker because every time we arrive in a place, we have to contact the local social worker. It takes some time to go out, okay? Not for us, but for the people especially from the government. We arrive in this place and we ask, we hear this child screaming. We ask this child if he can open the door, and she doesn't want to open the door. She just opens a small, how we call a small hole, or, yeah. And when she opened the door, she was in this way, in this condition. The name of this child is Pen. At the time, she was 6 years old. And she was 6 years old at the time. And what happened? Happened that the stepmother doesn't like her, and then she started to torture her with a hot iron, okay, all over the body, and like you can see, and hitting her, even punching her on the face many times using the hot iron. The big problem of why the stepmother did something like this, because okay, in front of the police, in front of the judge, she said that this child was really very naughty. I think it's not enough, no? The problem is that even that in Pattaya and surrounding and in Thailand, we have a very, very big problem with methamphetamine, with drugs. Even now, more than before. You remember the war on drugs that Mr. Thaksin did. After that, we have three times more drugs flowing in Thailand, especially is chemical drugs, no? It's methamphetamine. We call them yaba, we call them how you like, but it's methamphetamine. Costs nothing and can make this. This is the throat, and she tried to cut her throat. Maybe you cannot see very good, but maybe, yeah, she tried to cut the throat. And the Holy Mother, this was spent the night at the police station. The woman over there is King. She is a very tough police girl, and she works with women and child protection in Chonburi. The social workers, police here, and I was taking the picture. This is the Holy Mother. She was the stepmother with her own daughter. In many families, they mix up. Maybe they find a new boyfriend or new girlfriend, and they welcome them inside the family. Normally they have other children, and many times the other children are not accepted by the family. Okay, they are not accepted. So if you get drunk, if you take some methamphetamine, this can be the result if you are not accepted. So Pam stayed for 56 days in the hospital, in public hospital in Sriracha. They call us even. We were the first arriving at the Shin, like you saw before. And then we start to care for Pam. 56 days in the hospital. That's me, not nice to see, but it's more nice Pam. And she recovered very fast, of course. All the time. I stayed with her for all these days in the hospital. And she recovered fast. A child recovers very fast even from all the bruises and from all the scars and things like this. Like I told you before, she will never recover 100% inside, mentally. Pam is like this now, after all this nearly 2 years. Now Pam is back, because the story was that the mother cannot keep her because the mother was working in a big factory in Bangkok, and she doesn't have the time. So she gives the child back to the father, living with the new girlfriend, and that was the result. And now Pam is back with the mother in Bangkok. She's very happy for some way. I go to see her every 2-3 months because every 2-3 months I'm going to Bangkok for some meetings, things like this. So I will be passing by and she is happy there. The mother told me that she is many times aggressive. I tell her, I know that she have to. We are helping her with a psychologist in Bangkok. That means that we are paying for the psychologist in Bangkok. The problem is that many times psychiatric, this is not only for children, even for adults like us, they are giving us always medicine and things like this, but maybe we should stay, we should speak more out, we shouldn't take so much medicine, especially for children. They are giving very strong medicine like Xanax, like alprazolam. They are very, very strong, and you can really destroy the brain of a child. So, Taker Kids we had success in our shelter with our children, but we had even many stories that went well at the end. For example, we are helping, like I told you before, children coming from the hospital with very big diseases. Many of them, they die, and for me it's always very painful, but we had even children, they arrived in our shelter, they were so already mentally destroyed that we cannot recover them anymore. So we have to move them, especially to government houses where they are treating these children, that we cannot have them back anymore like a child. I mean that really the brain is really completely destroyed. We had a child before called Bean. This Bean was 7 years old and he tried to kill himself 6 times, but he knows very well what he was doing. He was coming from a very violent family. He can see everything, you know. The mother had many boyfriends. The boyfriends raped the mother in front of his own eyes and things like this. So it's very difficult for even among children. They are the one they are more strong, the one they are less strong. But something I can even tell you by my experience is, even if a child is just a newborn child, I learned that a newborn child, especially from 0 to 2 years old, he's a sponge. He's taking everything from us. Even single shout or things like this, he's taking everything. So I always advise, try to be always nice next to your child, because it's dangerous, because the child can remember everything and can repeat this everything even when he will become bigger and when he will grow up and things like this. So TCK Kids is doing this kind of thing since officially since 8 years now, and are trying to do every day something more and more and more. But we are doing even step-by-step things that we can do. Our policy, another of our policies, we never do a step longer than our food. That means that we don't spend money because we want to spend money and things like this. For us, the most important things are children. And like I told you, we don't collect numbers. We don't care about religions. A human being is a human being and has to be helped. And so we will go on like this. And any question you can ask me now, everything. And I want to thank all of you to listen to me, and even if I'm a little bit.
Yeah, we have a question there.
Thanks for your talk. Quite a lot heavier than most of the talks that we have here, but that's good too. You did mention that you met at one stage with people from the Father Ray Foundation. Do you have any official tie-up with it? And when you're choosing schools for your children, how do you do that?
Okay, when we are choosing school, it's very easy. We are trying to bring them all in the same school. It's more convenient for us, is for sure. So, and about Father Ray, we have connection with all the foundation in Pattaya, because, for example, Father Ray is taking care about handicapped children. So, if we find that kind of cases, that kind of problem, we refer them to Father Ray, for example. Like we refer children with HIV to the Glory Heart Foundation or to the Convenience Center in Rayong. It depends on where we find the children.
Yeah, I guess one concern that I have, and maybe a lot of people do, I don't know, is that we're all sort of refugees from Christian society, and we're seeking shelter in this Buddhist heaven here. So I would be concerned if the kids were actually being guided towards a Christian future instead of a Buddhist future. I take from your talk that you don't influence that in any way at all.
No, like I told you before, the children arrive, the one arrives to us, most of them they are Buddhist, and they will remain Buddhist, because I'm not able to teach them how to become Christian or things like this. And I in that moment, we have to focus that children have to recover. We are using a normal way of life. We are using the common sense. In the future, if the child wants to become Christian or wants to become, say, Buddhist or Muslim, I don't know, they will do it by themselves. But I'm not the one who can teach them something like this in this moment. Some other question?
Very moving presentation. Do you speak Thai?
Yes, I have to learn Thai. I have to learn Thai. Especially I start to learn Thai with a private teacher, but I can confess that I was not a good student at my times. With a private teacher, sometimes at the end of the day I was really falling asleep. Not because I don't respect the Thai teacher or things like that, but because I was really tired. But I learned a lot from my children as well. And then I try to implement my Thai, especially when I go to meeting, because we are invited for official meeting and things like this. So I bring always my staff, my secretary with me, she speaks very good English as well. So many times she translates to me because I want to be very clear in many points. And that's why I'm bringing with me always when I have something very important. She is always with me because I want to be really sure that we are speaking about important and serious matter. But that's why I'm not speaking Thai fluently. I'm so sorry.
Any more questions?
Just over here, please.
Thank you for a wonderful presentation. I'm wondering what the repercussions were for the mother, the stepmother of the child.
Thanks for the question. When we have this kind of cases, means that there are children arriving in our shelter. They were raped, they were physically abused, tortured. We are bringing the case to the court. In this case, the stepmother was sentenced to 28 hours of social work. So that day, I was very angry. I was feeling very frustrated inside. Sorry. I was so angry that I wrote a letter to the Prime Minister, to the actual Prime Minister, just not criticizing the verdict. I'm not the one I can criticize the verdict, absolutely. But I just asked him a little bit of attention on these kind of things. And I was never thinking to have a feedback, but after some days, the public prosecutor from Chonburi, he calls me to have a chat with him, because 2 days before, people from the government called him and asked him about this case. I just want to bring up this case. I just want to tell the people, maybe we have to change something, because it's 28 hours of social work for such things. I think can I call this a shame, or maybe not? It's up. I don't want to again criticize any verdict, again criticize the law that we have, but I was like a human. I was feeling bad. Sorry. Thanks for the question.
Any more questions, please?
It's not, where's the website, or how?
Hold the microphone closer.
How can I donate?
Okay, takerkids.org. Takerkids.org. We are on Facebook even. In Facebook you can follow us every day, what we are doing every day. Not everything, but something. And later I can give you a card, you can come to visit us if you have time, if you want. If you have some free time. Depends on you. Okay?
You got one over there, isn't it? Come.
There's one over there. Last question. Les?
Yeah, it's not so much a question. Watching the video of the children in the shelter, I was very impressed with the fact that you teach them a lot of self-reliance, and they do a lot of their own things.
Thank you. They have to be like this, because these children are, we have to prepare them even in case that no one will then accept them anymore at home. So they have to be very independent from the beginning. Thanks for the question, and thanks to anyone who listens to a strange Italian man. Okay?
Please thank Giorgio and take care of kids. And if you can help, there is a table outside for those of you who haven't seen it, with some items on it that you can purchase to help take care of kids. And a donation box if you don't want to buy any items, that's fine too, but you can donate. Giorgio, we have a certificate of appreciation for you. Thank you very much for all the information you've given us about Take Care Kids. Thank you once again.